Imagine waking up on a deserted island with nothing but the clothes on your back. No phone. No food. No shelter. And no idea if anyone is coming to rescue you. This is the story of a man named Daniel, whose ordinary vacation turned into a fight for survival against nature itself. It all began on a sunny morning. Daniel was traveling by boat across a remote stretch of ocean. The weather forecast looked perfect. The sea was calm, and the sky was clear. Everything seemed normal. But nature can change in an instant. By late afternoon, dark clouds rolled across the horizon. Powerful winds began to shake the boat. Waves grew larger and larger. The captain tried to steer through the storm, but the ocean had other plans. A massive wave slammed into the vessel. Another followed. Then another. The boat began taking on water. People shouted. The storm roared. Lightning flashed across the sky. Within minutes, chaos erupted. Daniel grabbed a floating life ring as the boat broke apart. He was thrown into the cold, violent ocean. For hours, he drifted through darkness. Every wave felt like a mountain. Every breath was a struggle. He didn't know where he was. He didn't know if anyone else had survived. All he could do was hold on. As dawn arrived, Daniel opened his eyes and saw something in the distance. Land. A small island appeared beyond the waves. Using the last of his strength, he swam toward it. When he finally reached the shore, he collapsed onto the sand. Exhausted. Dehydrated. Alone. The island was beautiful. Palm trees swayed in the breeze. Birds circled overhead. Crystal clear water surrounded the coastline. But Daniel quickly realized a harsh truth. Beauty doesn't guarantee survival. His first priority was water. Humans can survive weeks without food, but only a few days without water. Daniel searched the island. Hours passed. No streams. No rivers. No lakes. The tropical heat was relentless. His throat felt dry. His lips cracked. Panic began to creep into his mind. Then he remembered something he had learned years ago. Rainwater. Using large leaves and pieces of debris washed ashore, he created simple containers to collect rain. That night, dark clouds gathered. When rain finally fell, Daniel held out every container he had. It wasn't much. But it was enough. The next challenge was shelter. Sleeping under the open sky might seem harmless. But exposure to sun, wind, rain, and insects could quickly become dangerous. Daniel gathered branches, leaves, and palm fronds. For hours he worked. Cutting. Stacking. Building. By sunset, he had created a small lean-to. Shelter. It wasn't comfortable. It wasn't pretty. But it protected him from the elements. For the first time since the shipwreck, he felt a small sense of hope. The following days became a routine. Every morning, Daniel searched for food. At first, he found coconuts. Breaking them open was difficult. But the water inside provided hydration, and the flesh provided energy. He also discovered small crabs along the shoreline. Catching them wasn't easy. They moved quickly and hid between rocks. Many escaped. But eventually, he learned their habits. Each successful catch meant another day of survival. The island was teaching him a lesson. Nature rewards patience. Weeks passed. Daniel became stronger. He improved his shelter. He crafted tools from driftwood and sharpened stones. He created fishing spears. Some days were successful. Others were failures. But every mistake became a lesson. One afternoon, while exploring the island, Daniel reached its highest point. From the top, he could see the entire landscape. The island was much smaller than he had imagined. And there was no sign of civilization. No buildings. No boats. No smoke. Nothing. For the first time, loneliness hit him hard. Survival isn't only physical. It's mental. Humans are social creatures. Without conversation, companionship, or connection, the mind can become its own enemy. Days blurred into weeks. Weeks blurred into months. Daniel began talking to himself. He narrated his daily tasks. He spoke to the ocean. He spoke to birds. Anything to hear a voice. At night, memories flooded his mind. His family. His friends. His home. He wondered if they believed he was dead. The thought haunted him. Yet every morning, he continued. Because giving up would guarantee failure. One evening, Daniel noticed dark clouds gathering again. But this storm felt different. The wind was stronger. The air felt heavier. The ocean seemed angry. When the storm arrived, it struck with incredible force. Rain poured. Relentlessly. Winds ripped branches from trees. His shelter shook violently. Then collapsed. Hours of work disappeared in minutes. Daniel spent the night clinging to a tree. Cold. Wet. Terrified. When sunrise arrived, the island looked transformed. Trees had fallen. Debris covered the beach. His supplies were scattered. For a moment, despair overwhelmed him. Months of effort seemed destroyed. But survival often comes down to one choice. Quit. Or rebuild. Daniel chose to rebuild. Stronger. Smarter. More prepared. He constructed a better shelter on higher ground. He stored extra food. He reinforced everything against future storms. The island continued testing him. One day, he stepped on a sharp coral rock. The cut became infected. Walking became painful. Without medicine, even a small injury could become deadly. Daniel cleaned the wound daily using fresh water. He rested whenever possible. Slowly, his body healed. The experience reminded him how fragile survival truly is. Months passed. Daniel became an expert at island living. He could identify edible plants. He could fish efficiently. He could predict weather patterns. He understood the rhythms of nature. Yet rescue remained his greatest goal. Every day, he maintained a signal fire near the beach. Every day, he checked the horizon. Every day, he hoped. And every day, disappointment followed. Then one morning, something changed. A distant shape appeared on the horizon. A boat. Daniel froze. His heart raced. Was it real? Or another illusion? He sprinted toward his signal fire. With shaking hands, he added dry leaves and wood. Smoke rose into the sky. Higher. 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 The boat continued moving. Daniel waved his arms. He shouted. He jumped. Minutes felt like hours. Then he noticed the vessel changing direction. Toward the island. Toward him. Hope exploded inside him. The boat grew larger. Closer. 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 Finally, he could see people standing on deck. They had seen the smoke. They had seen him. After months of isolation, rescue had arrived. When the boat reached shore, Daniel could barely speak. Emotion overwhelmed him. The crew helped him aboard. For the first time in months, he was no longer alone. As the island disappeared behind him, Daniel looked back one final time. That island had nearly broken him. It had challenged every part of him. But it had also revealed strengths he never knew existed. He learned that survival is not just about finding food and water. It's about resilience. It's about hope. It's about refusing to surrender when every circumstance tells you to quit. Many people believe courage means never feeling fear. But Daniel learned something different. Courage is feeling fear every single day and continuing anyway. The ocean tested him. Storms tested him. Loneliness tested him. Yet he endured. Because the human spirit is stronger than we often realize. And sometimes, when everything is taken away, we discover who we truly are. So the next time life presents a challenge that feels impossible, remember Daniel's story. Remember the man who stood alone on a deserted island. Remember the storms he survived. Remember the days he wanted to give up. And remember that persistence can carry a person farther than they ever imagined. Because as long as hope remains alive, survival remains possible. The end.